So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to all from different countries. So, thank you for all of you attending this NECCTON stakeholders workshop of co-design of future products. So, as people continue to log on, we are going to start following the agenda for today. I remind you that the workshop is recorded. You have probably seen the message in Zoom meeting to inform you. And I let Ella from Visuality to give you more technical information.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ella, and with Visuality, we've been invited by the colleagues behind NECCTON from Mercator to help technically with this meeting. Just a few very simple points. As Corinne already mentioned, the meeting is being recorded. So if you don't wish for your face or your voice to be on recording, please be mindful of that. You can switch on or off your camera, of course, for the interaction, and that's what this workshop is about. It would be great if we can have your camera on, but we understand there are different situations. Please do keep your microphone muted unless you're speaking and intervening. It's an exchange workshop, so we will need to hear from you at some point. But when not, please be muted. If you forget to do so, we as technical host might mute you at some point. Nothing personal there. Please don't be offended. But just making sure that everyone can participate in a comfortable way and hearing the important input that we're sharing today. We will be working now in the plenary when you'll get some input from the experts. Then we will work in breakout rooms and we will be using different interaction tools, but more about it later. If you have any practical issues, please, you can talk to me in the chat, in the Zoom chat. It's a little icon with a speech bubble on the bottom of your Zoom, and I'll help you with your tech. If you have any content questions during the presentations, I'll invite you also to post them in the chat, and then the moderators will have a look if there will be time to involve you in discussion now, or we'll pick it up in the groups. We'll be working with a break today, so no worries. It's until 1:30 Central European time where I'm based, and within the next 4.5 hours from wherever you are based. But there will be a break in between. Make sure you're comfortable, make sure you have water with you, enjoy and participate to the workshop. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ella. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, I think it's working. Okay, so I'm Corinne Derval from Mercator Ocean International, and I'm the leader of the work package 2 of the NECCTON project. This work package deals with stakeholder engagement, communication, dissemination, and exploitation. I'm going to present you the agenda on the objectives of this workshop. So first, the agenda, as you know, it will take place over 2 half days. We will start today with a plenary session in which we will present the workshop objectives, introduce the NECCTON project, provide an overview of the products that will be developed as part of the project, the visualization tool, and an overview of the planned case studies. We will conclude this plenary session with testimonies from some of our key stakeholders who are already engaged in the project. Then we will move on parallel sessions where you can directly interact with the people in charge of NECCTON product development. We will have 4 parallel sessions lasting 1 hour 15, one for each product family. Repeated twice. So I will come back to this later. Finally, we will come back to the main room for the wrap-up session and the conclusion. So let's move on to the agenda for the second day, so tomorrow morning. We will start with an introduction session with a presentation of the main findings from this first day. Followed by a dedicated session for a discussion more focused on South Pacific with the Pacific stakeholders, and some tuna case studies will be also presented and discussed. And Yes, finally, we will end with a wrap-up session and the conclusion. So I would like to precise that the Zoom link for tomorrow is the same as the one provided for today. So we will use the same link for the entire workshop. Let me share with you the objectives of this workshop. This workshop provides us with the opportunity to connect and engage with users who are interested in the products that will be developed in the project. It allows us to gain a better understanding of your specific needs and requirements for various applications. This ensures that the project outputs directly align with the needs of the users and stakeholder community. In this co-design process, it's crucial to gather your requirements, such as variables, output formats, temporal and spatial resolutions, geographic areas of interest, climate change scenarios, projections, and many other important requirements that will be discussed during the parallel sessions. So collecting these needs will enable us to refine the specifications for these new products. And therefore, the main objective of this workshop, and particularly the parallel sessions, is to foster rich and dynamic exchanges. We want to encourage active participation and collaboration, creating an environment where valuable insights and ideas can be shared and discussed. Let's now start with the presentation and objectives of the NECCTON project by the project coordinator, Stefano Sciavata from Mercator Ocean. Please, Stefano, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. First of all, please let me thank you so much for joining us today. Because, I mean, the stakeholders and the user are an essential part to achieve our vision. Can you please go on the slide before? Our vision is to transform the European capability to predict and protect the biodiversity of marine ecosystems. And so if we are in the position as the investigators of the project to enable the Europe to predict biodiversity indicators, it's essential your participation to help us to protect the biodiversity of the marine ecosystems. And at the end of the day, you will be the users, hopefully, of our products. And so it's extremely important that they are tailored to your needs and that you will use them, as Colin said. So thank you again for being here. Next slide, please. But first, I would like to give you a little bit of key facts about this project, NECCTON. It's a project answering a call, a European Horizon Europe call for Copernicus evolution projects. Copernicus, as you know, is the EU program that aims to develop information for European citizens on the base of the Sentinel constellation of satellites and in situ data and models. In particular, we are targeting the Copernicus Marine Service, and I will go on this particular service in a later slide. The duration of the project is 4 years. It was just kicked off in January 2023, and it will last until December 2026. It has a budget of 10 million. It's coordinated by myself here at Mercator Ocean International, and the management is in the hand of Jessica Hurd at the Plymouth Marine Laboratory. There are 23 partners in this project. Next slide, please. Which are spread across all Europe in 11 countries. And at the end, it's in the hands of these partners to produce, disseminate, and make you available the models and the products. And so to them goes my thanks, of course. Next slide, please. So the Copernicus Marine Service is the service that we are targeting. What is it about? Okay, the Copernicus Marine Service is a European service that provides free and open marine data to enable marine policy implementation, support the blue growth and scientific innovation. It provides products that you can download at the link that I showed you there. In essence, these products can be broadly subdivided in 3 great categories: blue ocean, white ocean, green ocean. That means products for the ocean physics, for the CEIs and analogous product, and for the biogeochemistry and biology, the green ocean. Next, please. These products are provided to you in the form of observations, derived from observations, or as numerical models that outputs that might have assimilated those observations to make the outputs more precise and accurate and more distributed in space and time. And this comes in the form of multi-year analysis for the past, multi-decadal simulation of the state of the ocean, variables that characterize the state of the ocean, or real-time conditions of the ocean, or predictions for the next days from T2 to 10 in the global ocean, represented in the globe that we can see, or in the European regional seas. Next, please. And at the end, these products needs to satisfy the user needs for applications, in society application, environmental application, and economical applications. Next slide, please. So let's focus a little bit on the green ocean products. This is what, at the moment, Siemens can offer: biogeochemical products for a range of variables and biological variables up to plankton or micronecton. These pose some limitation on the capability of the Copernicus Marine Service to satisfy some needs in terms of biodiversity or fisheries management. So well, next slide. The overall objective of NECCTON is to enable the Copernicus Marine Service to better inform ocean policymakers, managers, and publics about biodiversity conservation and fisheries management, and this by providing products that concern fishes, pollution, and benthic habitats. In this way, we will be in a better position to satisfy the needs for policies and ocean governance, marine food, ocean health, and climate adaptation. Next slide, please. In practice, we will do this by developing a set of models that can describe the marine pollution, better describe biogeochemistry and lower trophic levels, describe distributions of higher trophic levels, fishes and marine mammals, and the benthic habitat, and to enable also the Copernicus Marine Service to use these models for climate change projections. Next slide, please. In essence, these models will be providing us with 25 new or improved products that we can, for simplicity, subdivide between pelagic biogeochemistry, benthic products, NECCTON products, and products that characterize the stressors and the pollution of the ocean. And these by means of mainly models. It will be products, data sets as model simulations for hindcast, decadal hindcast of the past, so products from 1990 to 2020, for example, but also climate projections, multi-decadal, up to the end of this century to see what the climate change impact will be on marine ecosystems by means of these products. Next slide, please. We will also deliver products in the form of deriving them from observations, in particular for reflectance, derived hyperspectral reflectance, derived from the Prisma satellites as a test case. But we will use a lot of observations to tune our models, to assimilate into the models, to improve a simulation, and to validate, to assess the uncertainty and the quality of the products that we are going to provide you. Next slide, please. And we will test if these products are really useful in the 13 case studies. We will see later what these case studies are, that can broadly subdivided in case studies on biodiversity conservation and fisheries management. And the key thing is that we will co-develop these case studies with a range of stakeholders that goes from marine protected area managers to the FAO, to governmental organization, and to United Nations organization. We will see which organization are these later on. Next slide. So it remains me just to wish you a very good and fruitful workshop, and to thank you again for being here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Stefano. Let's move on the overview of the future NECCTON products. So we will start with James Clark from PML. James is the leader of the work package 5, the pelagic lower trophic level modeling products. Please, James.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. As Corinne says, I'm leader of work package 5, where we are tasked with delivering new and improved capabilities in low trophic level modeling. So we have an overall objective to improve and extend CMEM's capacity to deliver physical and biogeochemical products for the low trophic levels of a marine ecosystem. And we have a particular view within this work package of supporting higher trophic level modeling as delivered by CMEMS, which is one of the new innovations which NECCTON will enable. So we have agreed a list of new products that we're targeting within the project, which are listed here. So one of those is mesozooplankton biomass, micronecton biomass, dissolved organic matter, particulate organic matter, suspended particulate matter, and reflectants. And the hope is within this session here, you will provide feedback on these products and how we can deliver them to best meet end user needs. Next slide, please. So we're a fairly big work package. We have 9 contributing institutes. We have all of the CMEMS marine forecasting centers. So all of the different areas where CMEMS products are currently delivered will be improved and extended within this work package. The work package is led by Plenary Marine Laboratory, but it has a heavy involvement from all of the collaborators listed here. Next slide, please. So I thought it's this work package in some ways stands alone within the NECCTON project because there's already existing capability within the CMEMS catalog and existing products related to the lower trophic levels of marine ecosystems. And I did a quick go at highlighting some of the products which are currently available and for which domains they're available for. I think it's clear by looking at this table and at the map that not all of the same products are delivered for all of the same areas. I think in many ways that's right because some products are more appropriate to some areas than others, and some model systems have different capabilities. But this is sort of where we are with respect to the existing capability. And if we go to the next slide, please. These are the new products that we're going to add. So the first one is mesozooplankton biomass. These are multicellular organisms ranging from 0.2 to 20 millimeters in size. I've shown a picture of Arcacia here. So copepod was a sort of archetypal example of mesozooplankton. So one of the rationales for including mesozooplankton in this new range of products is the important link that they provide to higher trophic level organisms, also important role in carbon cycling and as grazers of biomass of organisms that live slightly below them in the trophic food web. And this is a product that we plan to deliver for the Arctic, Northwest Shelf, IBI, Baltic and global domains. Next slide, please. So the next one is micronecton biomass. So micronecton, slightly larger organisms, archetypal examples being small fish, squid, crustaceans. So these typically ranging from 2 to 20 centimeters in size. Again, a really important link to higher trophic level organisms, which is the theme for these 2 products to try and better connect these lower trophic level models that support the CMEM systems to higher trophic level models. And the map here is a map produced by Sarah at CLS, showing work she has done on mapping micronected biomes throughout the global ocean. Next slide, please. Or next click. So the third product is suspended particulate matter. So there's a push within the project to work within more coupled systems, so to better connect to the physics. So these are SPM models, which will be run with physical ocean models with two-way coupling in some cases to wave models, and the simulation of SPM dynamics So this is work that's being mostly pioneered within the Med, but will be delivered as operational products, or well, as trial products within the North West Shelf and Baltic Sea domains. There's also very close links with this product to the work within the Benefit Work Package. Next slide, please. Or next, click. The next one's DOM and POM, or DOC and POC. This is something we want feedback on within the breakout session. It's formed in several ways, for example, during cell lysis, and exists in many forms. These are important pools of carbon in the ocean, and these are planned to be delivered for the domains listed here. I won't list them all, but yeah. The next one, please. And the last one is reflectance. So this is a model diagnostic from the in-water optical models. There's quite a big push within NECCTON to work on the bio-optics within the different lower trophic level models. I show here a map, which is work for Joseph, published in 2021, looking at the impact of having this two-way feedback between the biogeochemistry and the physics on bloom phenology, and all this is linked to improvements within the bio-optical modeling within these systems, and one of the products we want to deliver there is reflectance. And next slide, please. And so this is just a summary table. So just to make it clear that not all of these products are going to be delivered for all of the different domains. And so yeah, just to set people's expectations with that. But this table summarizes where those different products will be delivered. And we can go into this more in the parallel session. And final slide, I think. So yeah, so please view this as if you come to the WP5 or lower trophic level session, please view this as an opportunity to feedback on these new and improved products. Your recommendations will be used to guide what we deliver. So it's also an opportunity to express wider opinions on the CMEMS pelagic products in general and the service offered. So there'll be an opportunity to expand beyond these specific new products which I've mentioned. I also deliver a slight health warning that I prepared a crazy number of questions for the session. So be prepared to work fast and engage if you come to our session. Thank you very much.
Maureen, please unmute and you speak to us.
Sorry. Thank you very much, Jim. Now let's welcome Marie-Laure Grégoire from University of Liège, who is the leader of the Work Package 6, new capability in benthic habitat modeling products. Please, Marie-Laure.
Yes, so thank you, Corinne, and good morning to everyone. So I am Marie-Laure Grégoire from the Liège University, and I am co-leading Work Package 6 on benthic product with Karin Soutart from the Netherlands Institute of Sea Research. So the Work Package 6 is, next slide, please. Okay, so Work Package 6 is focused on improving our capability to model the benthic system. So why the benthic system? Because the benthic system is delivering a lot of ecosystem services, which is, for instance, associated to biodiversity preservation, biogeochemical cycle mediation and carbon sequestration, for instance, biodeposition, and also it also influences the water clarity by impacting the SPM dynamic, for instance. So the benthic ecosystem is really important if you for per se, but also for the role it has on the pelagic systems. And so here in Work Package 6, we will improve our models in order to be able to provide new products and new modeling modules to represent the benthic system. So currently, the benthic system is not really present in the CMEMS products. And here we intend to improve that with new products and with new models. So more specifically, what would be the products that we envisage for Work Package 6? We would like to deliver bottom oxygen, bottom pH, the carbon flux to the seabed, the light at the seabed, the suspended particulate matters, and this product will be done in collaboration with Work Package 5. As you have heard from Jim's presentation previously, we are connecting the pelagic and the benthic part as concerned the dynamic of SPM, the carbon sediment content, the mapping of, we also provide maps of emblematic benthic species. So it could be a seagrass, macroalgae, macrofauna, like for instance, the macrobenthos and mussels. And also we'll provide habitat mapping. So that's for the new products. We also we will also deliver some modeling models, and it will be the case for models of seagrass, macroalgae, bivalve, and benthic macrofauna. So that's the output that we target with Work Package 6. Next slide, please. So the contributors to Work Package 6 are the following one. We are 7 institutes. So basically, that's the region where you have a quite shallow system and where you expect to have a strong interaction between the benthic and the pelagic part. And so you see here my collaborators. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, for the new products, so the new products that you can see here, and I will not read them again, will be delivered for the Baltic, Black, North, and Mediterranean Sea. For all this region, we will have this new product that will be delivered at the end of NECCTON. Next slide, please. In addition to that, we will also have products as concern biodiversity or as concern some species for some region, and you can see here the different the different species that would be mapped and that would be modeled for different regions. And you see that we'll have a map of species and modeling of species for the North Sea, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Black Sea. So you can see what will be the species that we are targeting. And here we really expect to have interaction with you in order to fine-tune the type of species that we can model that would be of interest for you, and the specificities of the products that we will deliver to you. Specificities mean resolution, temporal resolution, spatial resolution, type of species that you need, etc. And we will have plenty of time to discuss this detail during the Work Package 6 session. Thank you. I guess it's the last slide. Corinne, can you check that it is the last slide? But I think so.
Yes, yes, it is.
Okay, so yes. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you very much, Marie-Laure. Now let's welcome Verena Trenkel from Ifremer, who is the leader of Work Package 7, which focuses on new capabilities in high trophic level modeling products. So please, Verena.
Yeah, thank you, Corinne. Good morning, everybody. Yeah, this is about higher trophic level products. As you've heard, the current capabilities of Copernicus stop in the food web rather low. They stop at below the higher trophic levels, which here means fish. So in this work package, we are working on developing and applying, estimating for certain domains these products. Next slide, please. So the range of products we've planned goes from small pelagic fish biomass, which can be either particular species or size range corresponding to this group of species. The application is planned for a number of domains, from the global Northwestern Shelf, IBI, Baltic Sea, Mediterranean Sea to the Black Sea. We also have products which concern apex predators like tuna, which can either be species specific or the corresponding size range of individuals. We also have one product which will be developed for marine mammals distribution, and that's in the Azores. Then we also have a more broad group of a product which is a broad group which targets unspecified fish biomass. So that's basically all pelagics or all demersal or just all fish, or corresponding a size range which corresponds to a fish. And then we also have a product which relates to higher trophic level habitat, which will be developed for the Adriatic Sea. Next slide, please. To produce these products, we will be developing and applying a range of models. The spirit of NECCTON is to say these are completely new products. So we want to test a range of models and compare them. So not all models will be compared for all regions, but the basic idea is that the diversity of models will allow us to evaluate and compare model outputs, to have an ensemble approach and gain insight into the effect of model uncertainty on these products. We have 3 classes of models. We group them into these 3 classes. So the first group of models includes what we call ecosystem biomass models. And there we have 2 types. We have those that are one-way coupled to the lower trophic model inputs, which is driving the food, these higher trophic levels. So the fish production, which is driven by food uptake and which comes from the lower trophic products, existing ones and newly developed ones within NECCTON. So we have three types of models, which quite different approaches from FEISTI, which is a size spectrum model, to EcoSpace and EcoOcean, which work on biomass groups. Then we have a range of models which have two-way coupling, which means that not only is the fish biomass driven by the production lower down in the food web, but also the effect of fish on the lower trophic level is included. So this is we have 3 models for this, with a size range approach, and then the species specific production and our approaches. So these are the ecosystem biomass models. Then we have a range of models which are aimed at modeling species distribution using various approaches, but basically including physiological aspects and individual population dynamics to model distributions of a certain species. And lastly, we have species population models, again with 2 types. One-way coupling with lower trophic models, so being driven only bottom-up forcing, and two-way coupling with in each. Well, we have a species population model also with physiology. Then we have osmosis, which is a size-structured model, but also resolving as individual species. And we have the Cipodine model applied to 3 different species. During the breakout session, we would like to exchange with you and get your feedback on your needs, what you would like to use these projects for, if they become available, when they become available, and also more detailed questions on spatial resolution, temporal resolution scenarios, which would be of interest to you, climate change scenarios, fishery scenarios. So all these questions we would like to have input and exchange with you on your needs and ideas. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Verena. And now let's move on the last presentation of this overview of the product. I give the floor to Donata Canu from OGS, who leads the work package 8 about new capability in marine pollution and stressors products. Please, Donata.
Thank you, Corinne. Hi, everyone. Next slide, please. So the work package 8 is will produce new CMEMS products to improve the capability to provide information regarding marine pollution and stressor tools, informations that are currently not available in the CMEMS but is quite important to support the assessment of ocean and marine health, to support the analysis of climate adaptation, and also to support marine spatial planning. And the work package will provide specific products for specific marine pollutions, and also a set of tools to assess and describe the fate and transport of the target pollutants and the impacts of single and multiple pressures on target marine ecosystems. This will provide products taking into account single and multiple pressures on marine ecosystems, for example, related to extreme events like marine heat waves. Sorry, there are some works here. I hope you can hear well. Trawling activities and so on. The idea is that our marine systems are, the conditions of our marine systems are not only related to their natural state and to the biochemical and physical properties that govern their spatial and temporal evolution, but also is subjected to several human activities, past and present human activities that provide external substances and external pressures to the marine systems. So in order to be able to assess the state of the systems, is important to be able to track and to map these pressures on the system itself. So the idea of this the breakout session today is to present the products that we plan to produce in the project, but also to collect the needs to preliminarily co-design the products and to refine the specification, for example, regarding the spatial resolution, the temporal resolution, the kind of analysis that can be done to the products that we are going to produce, and also to make a list of additional products that from your point of view are relevant for the assessment. Next slide, please. The contributors of the work package 8 are listed here. So we have OGS, Utrecht University, Mainz from Greece, PML, Hirion, CMCC from Italy, and NEOS from the Netherlands. Each provide a different type of product. Next slide, please. And the products are also are based on the readiness of the tools and of models that each of the institutions have already developed in the past years, but will also capitalize on the opportunity given by NECCTON. And so the pollutant products will benefit from the improvements that are being developed in the other work packages. For example, in work package 5 and 6 related to the benthic and the pelagic products. Just to give you an example, the new development in the pelagic products related to DOC and to the carbon will highly benefit the pollutant models, since pollutants like POPs, like mercury, are deeply related with the carbon cycle in the marine system. So this is the list of products and the related area where this product will be produced. So we have plastics. Products will be produced in the Arctic. There's noise, sorry. In the Northwest Shelf and in the Mediterranean Sea. The POPs in the Arctic, mercury for the Mediterranean Sea, oil again in the Mediterranean Sea, fishery pressures in the Black Sea, climate change stressor index in the Northwest Shelf, in the Mediterranean, in the Black Sea, and the multi-stressor index in the Northwest Shelf, in the Mediterranean and the Black Sea. Next slide, please. So I've finished. Thank you.
I think this is the last one. Yes. Thank you. Thank you very much, Donata, and thank you all for this products overview. So now let's move on the next presentation for the visualization tool. I let the floor to Alex Marsa from Lobelia. Lobelia is in charge of developing the visualization tool for the NECCTON product. So I let you share your screen, Alex. I'm stop sharing mine.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Good morning, everyone. Can you see my screen? Can you see my screen? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I will be doing a short demo of my ocean viewer that is used in the Copernicus Marine Service. What you are observing right now is the marine data store. So I will explain a little bit how the products are organized. As you can see, are grouped by categories such as most popular, or view, favorites, or green, blue, and white ocean. So we can easily find similar products or just check which are the most popular products. The next step would be selecting a product and adding the layers to the viewer. So to be more easy to find the product, we can utilize various filters. For instance, we can check salinity, and once it's selected, all the products that contain salinity-related layers are displayed. So we can choose a product and do the product on the viewer, where a pop-up show all the filter layers at the top of the pop-up, and at the bottom of the pop-up, we can find all the remaining layers that are not related to the selected filter. And as you can see, all the layers are grouped by the dataset. Then we can add a layer of the layer we want to the map to explore the data. Then we can remove the layer we don't want to use. Or we can zoom in to a specific zone, the resolution change. Then we can navigate through the timeline, and as you can see, really fast and smooth. We can also navigate through the depth. Then we can select a point and see its data. Or we can draw a line. Or even create a polygon. And this feature is being used by over 1,500 users daily. And as you can see, each geometry has its own graph. Then we can choose between 4 base maps. Or we can just hide or show the layers we selected. And all these graphs are full interactive, so we can change, for example, the depth of a graph, and the data that it's displayed will change. And last but not least, the subsetting and downloading process. By clicking the download button, the subsetting option will be displayed, so we can select an area. And choose it as the desired area. We can change it as we want. And as you can see, it's calculating the size, and we can change the date range, and the size will increase. And once all the options are chosen, we can proceed to download. So a similar viewer will be deployed for the new dataset developed in NECCTON to enable the visualization and access to the NECCTON data, making sure that it's full compatible to the new Copernicus Marine data store, which is coming into service in the next month. Many thanks for your attention. If you have any question, feel free to ask.
Thank you very much, Alex. Now, before moving, it's Patrick Léaudet from Mercator Ocean. Can you please share your screen, Patrick?
Yes.
So Patrick is leading the work package 9 of NECCTON about the synthesis and climate projection for fisheries management and biodiversity conservation.
Do you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Hello, everyone. So I will present a brief overview of the case studies we have selected for this NECCTON project. So I'm not going to repeat what Stefano said, but just highlight that the idea in NECCTON, and especially for this work package, is to involve the stakeholders, future stakeholders of the new products, improved and new products of CMEMS, to be sure that these products will be useful and used. And so to do that, these case studies need to be designed with the stakeholder and evaluated them. So the approach is we selected a number of case studies with the idea to cover different new products and old ones as well. And each case study will develop its own tools after discussion with the stakeholders that can be used to simulate scenarios that can be useful for management or conservation questions and to meet the needs of the stakeholders. And we expect already a high level of requests in terms of technology for these different testing. So we came with a number of 13 case studies covering the 7 modeling domain of CMEMS. So you have seen this map already 3 times. So they are global.
Patrick,
yes?
sorry, apologies to disturb. It's Ella from Tech. I'm getting signals from some participants that your sound is hard to hear. Can you try speaking closer to your microphone or using a headset, please? Just to make sure that we don't lose any of your important inputs. Thank you.
Okay, sorry. So these 13 case studies have been selected based on the geographical coverage. So the 7 modeling and forecasting domains of CMEMS, from global to European seas. The other criteria was to have a diversity of focus, either for the management of commercial species or for the conservation of protected species and spatial planning in general. And of course, the last criteria was the use of improved CMEMS products, so the one we know already, and the new products that will be developed in NECCTON. So now I'm going to very quickly review each of them. The first one concerns the Mediterranean Sea and the Adriatic Sea, more precisely, with a study dedicated to the monitoring and improvement of our knowledge on the bottlenose dolphin, which is, of course, a protected species in this area, and particularly in the area of marine protected zone, with the use of various products of NECCTON and CMEMS to better model the habitat of this species. Another study in the Med and the Adriatic Sea is more, in that case, more focused on commercial species, and the stakeholder is the General Fisheries Commission for the Mediterranean Sea. Here again, the idea is to identify the hotspot area where most of these species of interest aggregate, and to help the stakeholder to design and define specific management zones for protection or fishing, better fishing monitoring. The third case study on the Med Sea is about the tracking of pollutants, especially so this study will propose to track pollutants in the Med Sea, so either microplastic or any other pollutants that we can track, and with the objective to support the activity of aquaculture farming, and provide a way to either monitor the risk of pollution in the area, in the sites of aquaculture, but also to support the labeling in terms of quality of products by the aquaculture farms towards the market. So again, these studies will need products that will be developed in NECCTON, especially those allowing tracking the different pollutants. Then we move to the Black Sea. Here, the objective is to have a better knowledge on what could be the impact of trawling on the Baltic ecosystem. So Marie-Laure already presented the new products that will be developed in NECCTON in terms of Baltic variables. So they will be used together with the data set, the monitoring of trawling to investigate the impact. The number 5 is now in the Northwest European shelf, so developed by PML with the UN World Conservation Monitoring Center as a stakeholder. So in this case study, again, the idea is to use the CMEMS and NECCTON products, so from physics to biochemistry and lower and higher trophic levels, to identify the best area that can be used for designing marine protected areas, and also to use the different stressors like pollutants, but also climate change that can impact these MPAs. The 6th case study is in the Bay of Biscay with the EB domain. So here it's focused on the small pelagic fish, so anchovies and sardines. Here the needs for the stakeholders, especially the working group on small pelagics of ICs, is to have a better understanding on the ecosystem, this particular ecosystem that support the commercial species, and how we can develop indicators that help to manage the species and the fisheries. So for that, the study will use different models that have been presented by Verena. And so the idea here is to have several models to have a better understanding of the uncertainty and the outputs of these models. The number 7 is in the Parc Naturel Marin d'Irois, so MPA, in the west part of Brittany. Here there is a special focus on the zooplankton, community and change in abundance, and eventually the emergence of new species like the gelatinous species that could come with the warming of the ocean. And so the need is to see if we can monitor the change in this community, identifies sentinel species that could give good indicators of the ecological status of this area, and also to make the link with the small pelagic fish, the anchovies and sardines that are also studied in the previous case study. Next one, number 8, is now in the Arctic area. So here, this study led by the NERSC and with the IUCN as a stakeholder is to identify and to monitor protected area in this Arctic region with monitoring and modeling all the system possible, so from physics to fish, even seabirds, and fish biomass, and also to consider the potential impact of pollutants moving to this region. Number 9, again in the Arctic, but in that case, it's more focused on the commercial species. So here the idea is to model the different species, fish species, small and larger fish species that inhabit the area, and to use different ecosystem models to evaluate the impact of both the fishing activity, but also the change in the environment, either with natural climate variability or climate change. Now we move to the case study 10 in the Baltic Sea, led by BSH and Arion, and with the department BSH is also the stakeholders. They are in charge of the management of the MPA in this in the south of the Baltic Sea, in this area. So as for the other studies on MPA, the idea is to have a better information and knowledge on the impact of climate change and eventually pollution on the biodiversity and commercial species that inhabit this MPA area. The next one, case 11, is about tuna. In that case, we moved to the Pacific. We're using the global product delivered by CMEMS and NECCTON. So the need here for the managers is to have better knowledge and models to understand the change in the tuna distribution and abundance in the Pacific. We know that El Nino, for example, has a strong impact on the distribution of the species, so we can expect more change with climate change. So here the study will use a model that has been developed for the tuna and run climate change simulation, but also develop a tool to generate fishing scenarios, because we need to understand of course, the potential impact of climate change, but how this change will affect the fisheries, which is very important for the Pacific Islands in this region. The number 12 is about marine mammals in the Azores, with the regional directorates for maritime policies in the Azores, and that's developed by EMA. So here the studies focus on spotted common and spotted dolphins. And the idea is also to have a better modeling of the habitat of the species, of their movement, migration. And for that, the study will use the new projects from NECCTON concerning the prey of this species, so the zooplankton and microplankton, and that should help to monitor and manage the protection to protect these species that are essential for the economy of the region, because there is a large activity of whale watching and tourism, ecotourism in this area. And the last one is concern the global ocean. So using a model developed by DT with Ken Anderson. So FishMIP will be the stakeholder associated to this case study. So the model will use physical and biochemical forcings to run the global model for the historical and projection of climate change. And the model will deliver the abundance and spatial distribution of the main functional groups of the ecosystem, from zooplankton to the largest fish and predators. And that's it. So I guess with this, that you notice that with this series of case studies, there are a lot of common facts regarding different case studies. So you can, some of them share the same region and forecasting model outputs for developing their tools. Some other are sharing the same kind of focus, so they can use they can be interested to have the tracking of pollutants, or to have a better idea of exploited fish distribution, or to protect biodiversity and protected species. And also the stakeholder needs can be synthesized in these different focus. So either spatial distribution of exploited fish, protecting biodiversity, especially with marine protected area, or by better simulation of habitat species, and also some focus for the marine mammals to have a better protection of the species. So I guess there are some along these three axes as well. We are probably a good opportunities to have collaboration and sharing either forcing variables, outputs, or methods. So that's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patrick. I'm going to share again my screen. With audio, okay. So can you see it? Yes. So before we move on the breakout rooms, a very short video with the input of some of our key stakeholders involved in some of the case studies presented just before by Patrick. Is it working? Yes.
Hello, my name is Hilario Murua. I am a senior scientist with the International Seafood Sustainability Foundation, or ISSF. ISSF is a global coalition of seafood companies, fisheries experts, scientific and environmental organizations, and the vessel community. We promote science-based initiatives for long-term tuna conservation. Tuna is a natural resource that millions across the world depend on for nutrition, sustenance, and for their livelihood. And tuna are a highly migratory species. They swim through the waters of many oceans. So you can imagine how a species like tuna will be especially impacted by climate change. It could mean a redistribution of tuna species in different areas, as well as changes in productivity, population biomass, and therefore fishing catches. And this will affect access to and allocation of resources among fisheries, countries, regions, and international organizations. The project NECCTON is giving ISSF the platform to explore different climate change scenarios and how this will affect tuna resources and solve for these challenges with valued diverse stakeholders, so that we can continue our work to improve tuna fishery management for the benefit of their long-term sustainable use. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Laura Gómez Navarro, and I'm a postdoctoral researcher at IMEDEA in Mallorca, Spain, and Utrecht University in the Netherlands. Together with other early career ocean professionals from Utrecht and also working in Florida, Switzerland, and the UK, we developed See Clearly, which is a tool to assess the impacts of ocean plastic transport on and by aquaculture farms in the Mediterranean Sea. We believe the NECCTON project will impact our work by facilitating our task of mapping marine plastic pollution, by providing all available data from observations and models. The novelty NECCTON will add to the CMEMS dataset of more biochemical data, and data related to marine pollution will be extremely useful to us. It will enable us to better understand the impacts of plastic pollution on the marine environment, for example, marine protected areas, and the aquaculture industry.
Hello, my name is Kim Stavro. I am the manager of the Tuna project of the Common Oceans program, which is being implemented by FAO. So I'm here as a stakeholder, and we are very interested in the information and tools that will be coming out of one of the case studies. And this is to forecast the effects of climate change on tuna abundance and distribution. This is a very important output of the project and will be very valuable to the countries so that they can develop adaptation strategies and how to cope with